Hello and welcome today to our first episode of Politics for the Soul, where we discuss today's headlines and the headlines of the week without spin, and where we give you our honest opinion of where we think we should be. We're going to be discussing our frustration, their frustration, and where we can meet in the middle. Right, Edwin?
We sure are. And today we're going to be able to also discuss major news.
Yeah, what's going on with that Cohen thing, bro?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It just tells you a lot.
This is the man that used to say, "I'll take a bullet for the president."
Oh, yeah, he took a bullet, all right.
Now he's speaking like, like a canary. Sing, canary, sing. But anyway, I think the reason why he did that was because I think the president kind of watched and said, like, "You're on your own, buddy."
That's it.
And he was like, "Fuck that."
That's what's going on.
I'm going to give it up because at the end of the day, he's protected.
True.
But Trump is protected, but not him.
No, he's not at all.
Even with a pardon, it wouldn't have been able to get a pardon from the state of New York.
Well, they're trying to tarnish him, derail him from the situation, and also there's even been critiquing of his family and including the children together. On tweet. There's a congressman, a GOP actually was talking about that, but
you know what?
I didn't see the name.
This GOP is full of shit. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I know.
And I tell you why the conservatives are full of shit, okay?
True.
Because when Obama had office, all this controversy over Benghazi and emails and all this bullshit, they did it for years and years of investigation. When they had control of the Congress, they had control of the Senate, right? And with them controlling both houses, they still didn't come up with bullshit. You understand what I mean? Nobody was indicted. Nobody was arrested. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And here you go with this Trump person, everything that they derailed Obama on, this guy has done worse.
That is a fact.
You understand what I mean? With the part of Benghazi, remember those guys that were ambushed in Africa?
Yeah.
I didn't see the Republicans have a big deal of that. The same thing as Benghazi, and they didn't have an up in arms with that.
Well, their interest has never been humane, and everything it's about the money and
look at
changing
the corruption,
deregulations and doing things in order to make them richer.
Yeah, but that's all they have: deregulation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This is the part where Trump, these Republicans, these conservatives, bullshit that they uphold the principle and all that bullshit is all bullshit because they're letting this guy run amok in Washington. But I think it's all BS. At the end of the day, nor Democrat nor Republicans are doing shit about it, to be honest. The Democrats got their hands up their asses. Look, I like feistiness. If you're gonna go in there and fight this asshole once and for all.
The way he fights.
You understand what I'm saying? Without go take the gloves off and just bring it to him.
That's it.
All this stuff with corruption and collusion and all that stuff. Look, he's guilty. Trump has had a history of just being corrupt since if you follow Trump, even when he was just Trump in New York kept suing him. He kept getting away with it. It was about corruption during the New York, just when he was just a citizen. So what makes you think that he's going to not be corrupt as a president?
Oh, exactly. He's a narcissist. That's what he is.
You know what gets me? That these conservatives, these idiots that voted for him, right? No matter what he says, they believe everything.
Every little nick and cranny.
Everything. Yeah. It's like they look at him like, oh, okay, we don't want to believe anything because we believe him because he's just the Republican.
Exactly.
You understand what I mean? Whatever happened being loyal to country rather than being loyal to party?
True.
And this is what these Republicans have given up.
You don't find that these days at all. Everybody's on their own and everybody's about getting rich, especially Republicans, And I just feel like the Democrats always had their hands in your pocket, like we discussed that, their hands in their own pockets, and they're not moving. But I think something's coming. It's changing, the mindset. I think, like we were discussing before, we always need a negative to show things in the light. The evil actually to show it.
Yeah, because you know what? With this presidency, man,
we need an awakening.
This has really brought out what Washington really looks like. This is true Washington at its best. Corruption, corruption, corruption. He says this is a witch hunt.
Right. That's what he says.
I believe it. It is a witch hunt. The witch in the fucking White House. You know?
I know.
The freaking witch. The wicked witch.
The West of it. Is it or East of it?
The freaking White House. The wicked witch of the White House. That's what it is. Not getting my pretty no immigrants. Build the wall.
But that's actually the mindset that he has.
Yeah, well, you know what? These guys who support Trump to the T, their only motivation is immigrants. Yes. They don't care about drinking bad water, contaminated water. They'll drink it. They'll give it to their kids.
Regulation of petroleum.
They don't care about how much they pollute the air and arsenic in the air and all that. They don't care. Yeah. Look at the miners. They all voted for Trump, right? Because they didn't want the coal mines closed, right? But then at the same time, you're like, okay, they have a fund for black lung disease from coal miners.
That tells you.
And you're like, okay, I understand that this is the only living wage you have.
And the thing is that those diseases don't come out now. Yeah. They come out, lung cancer and all things come out like 30, 40 years later. You never know.
I'm like, these stupid asses. Yeah. They know that they got black lung disease from mining coal, right? And then when the Republicans and the conservatives vote against the fund that they have for black lung disease, you know what I mean? Then they're asked out. You see, rather than take and say, hey, look, okay, we could move away from coal, maybe give me the money or the grants or the support for me to get the education on the new economy that's coming.
True.
The new technology that's coming. Face it, everything changes. We go from the industrial area to the technological area. We went from Ice Age and Stone Age to, having a sewer system built. Exactly. You understand what I mean? People just don't like to accept it.
It's a common trait with this guy that he always attracts. He's attracted to the most villainous people, on the earth. Especially dictators, corporations. He deregulates just for them, and the thing is that everybody follows suit behind him. They're backing him up consistently.
That's because they're all making money, baby.
Right,
they're all making money, baby. It's all about that greenback. Them Republicans got that greenback, baby. Everybody's making money. So even Fox News is following
the swamp again.
The swamp that he drained the swamp right and filled it up with alligators. He filled it up with piranhas and electric eels and whatever else you got in there. He got all the swamp people in there, man. So great. He drained the swamp though, right? Filled it up with alligators. Look, you know what the biggest frustration for me is? How people just support him on the fact that they just hate immigrants so much that they're willing to overlook everything else.
And these are people that also been hidden in the back lines of the trees,
No, they've been hidden.
They've been hidden.
No, they ain't been hidden.
No, I'm talking about like organizations.
No, they ain't been hidden. They've been there.
They've been there.
They've been there. The only thing is that they didn't have the support to come out in public.
And now they're
they have they have their guy up there, Trump. That is emboldening the Ku Klux Klan, the militias, and the haters of the blacks and the immigrants and all that stuff.
They do crimes against Americans. And they're actually not considered terrorists.
No, it's different when you do.
That's what
when you bring somebody out and you lynch them in a white hood. It's not a terrorist act.
Right.
It's got to be done in a black mask and Allah. Then this be considered a terrorist act.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't understand the difference. I guess if you kill a black American in a white hood, it's not the same as killing a black American with Islamic turban.
Well,
whatever
it's
you call
he
it.
has his own little media people that change the perception of our minds. Of our American citizens' minds.
But that's what I mean. Talking about that. Don't you think that it's kind of stupid how we, as people, believe anything that comes out on Facebook or the media. This is how this guy won, because Putin put all that stuff on Facebook and social media. That people let that sway as some true journalism.
Yeah, and then when he talks about something being fake news or something being spinned, people believe it, right? Because they're on social media. But yet when he has his own people go on CNN and other reputable news agencies or companies, corporations, they actually don't understand that they're actually giving into the wrongness,
Bro, this is what I see. This is a guy who is adapted dictatorship type strategies. Because what a dictator does is first discredit the media and make the media the enemy of the people.
Well, that's the first.
That's what Hitler did.
Well, all dictators, yeah. You're talking about Castro. You're talking about Putin. You're talking about they don't like media. I mean, there's countries where media is controlled already. The press is actually controlled, and that's what this guy wants. He wants to control the press on how they perceive him. Then you have the ones that, of course, they're in his pocket that'll say whatever they want to say, and then you have the ones that are not in his pocket that say the truth, and those are the ones that are being villainized,
Absolutely. The thing that gets me with this presidency is it's a little frustrating. How many people just really believe this crap? You know what I mean? And the Republicans have really harbored, you understand, this kind of president, meaning now president can come in, he can lie, he can say whatever he wants, he can make the media now the enemy of the people, whether he's Democrat, Independent, or Republican.
Right. Well, that's
the Republicans have set the new standard of how America now operates.
Well, that's the thing. I remember back then, corporations were bold. They were in meetings. I myself worked for a big corporation, and they were bold and they were blunt. And that was fine. Nowadays, it's more like, since he's president, they speak. Even corporations speak to their own people like so rough. In such a way that it's appalling, to actually hear somebody talk to, a manager or whatever. They're all emboldened to speak all this language that is offensive, that offends your very being, and that's what it is, because they're in the pockets, and they've been deregulated. What I mean? Now they can do whatever they want.
They have a champion in the White House. This is our first corporation that we have voted into the White House. This is a corporation. This is not a human being.
No, he's not. No.
You know what I mean? This is a corporation. Yeah. All those people that are working under him hold stocks and shares in this guy. That's the reason why he does, when he says, hey, look, China, I'm going to do tariffs, right? And he knows what's going to happen. The United States president, whenever he speaks, whatever president it is, has consequences. It has benefits as well. Because when he makes an announcement that he's going to give tariffs, he knows stocks or affects marketing somehow. Then he goes and calls his friends in Wall Street or Ivanka Trump or Kirshner Trump and say, hey, buy stocks in this because I'm going to make an announcement tomorrow that's going to bring the stocks down for this company or that. And then later on, I'm going to make an announcement that we're going to have a deal and then stocks go back up. So Ivanka then make money and all his people. You understand what I mean? And this is the game he's playing. And
he makes it in such a way that he has these lawyers saying, no, they're like different entities. They're okay. There's nothing illegal about this. You know what I mean? So, and it's not only one. Of course, he probably has like 10, 20 lawyers. The thing is that's the way he functions. That's what he's doing, and not representing the United States people, the citizens, but representing corporations. And which is the worst thing in the world, right?
He only represents corporations.
No, that's what I say. He's not representing the people. He's representing the corporations.
Corporations, man. This is the first corporation we voted in. This election in 2020, people, this is about corporations versus the people. This is not even about Donald Trump. Again, this is Donald Trump, Inc. versus the people of the United States. This is tyranny at its best, period. And the thing that gets me, again, is just the stupidness of this Republican Party that just believes anything he says and arbor him.
Stupidity.
You know, I stupid.